Just made a complete circle of Pendleton Street. I'm on top of Reservoir Hill, and I'm getting a view of Falmouth here for you, so you can sort of see the town, and you can see some farms over there, and they're hauling in their tobacco. I think there's a 27 in the Fuller plant. There's the middle school, and I don't know if you can see Grandpa's place or not. And too many trees. It's Robbins and Elm Street. You can see on up 27, straight on out there. And it's a pretty nice view up here. Well, we'll move on and go somewhere new. Bye-bye. Somewhat of a relative to you. His name's Kirk Sullivan, and he does artwork, and that's his store. This is Main Street. And that's where we're heading. That's drugstore parking lot sign. The intersection of Main and Shelby Street. And this has been here, I guess, I don't know, quite a few years. Some guy painted this on the side of the old drugstore. And there's Grandpa, how he looked, and there's Junior. This is the outside of the drugstore. And Uncle Tom. This is your Grandpa sitting here behind the back of the counter, and there's Junior and Lisa and Daryl. They work down here with him. You bet. Hey. Yeah. This is what the inside of the drugstore looks like. We're at the courtyard. This is the Boston Memorial here in Falmouth. Here's how Pendleton County was named. A little history lesson. And that's the fire department. I'll bebop on around here, and this is the Pendleton County Courthouse. Over there is the Pendleton County Library. And this is on Main Street. That's the home of the Falmouth Outlook. It's the only paper we've had in this town, or I guess the county, in forever. And the city building and the police station there. Fire station. And that's the back entrance of the drugstore. We're just sort of bebopping here around town. The old Western Auto store over there. The pool hall. And this is the big movie theater in Falmouth. It shows some pretty good movies right now. And the Star Bank. Let me get out of the way of this van. Used to be the Kentucky National Bank. Pizza Factory. The Falmouth Post Office. Up street of Falmouth. There's Houchin's Clothes Store. Another look at downtown. Somebody driving by. This brick building is the Falmouth Jail. Don't you ever go there. Look at the post office. This is Houchin's shoe store. It's a tongue twister. These are what some of the shoes look like today. There's a little glare in the window, but don't pay attention to it. So don't laugh at our shoes. This was recently painted. We missed the new change on this, but this is the doctor's building, Dr. McKinney and Dr. Virax. This is the Falmouth Christian Church. Mommy used to go to church here when she was little. This is the other big street light in Falmouth. We have two of them. That little guy's always standing over there at the corner. This is the Falmouth Methodist Church. And this is pretty much downtown Falmouth, looking straight down at it. I don't know if you can see it, but there's a sign down there saying Kincaid Theater to the right. We'll be talking a little bit more about that later. This is your grandpa's car. I think his is a 92 Honda. But we're getting ready to leave uptown and go out on 27th so you can see what all's out that way, and we'll show you some new things. This is a little log cabin in Falmouth, and my friend Lisa Houchin lives in it. This is Chapel Street. There's Hart Pontiac. We're friends with the Hart family. And coming on up the street here. Whoops, stepped on a rock. It's the Catholic Church. The back end of the van.
Brianna, this is the old ice house that is built right along by the railroad track. This has long since been closed, but there was a time before the refrigerators came along that they froze ice in this building, and people would come into town and buy 50-pound or 100-pound block ice, and they would take it home and put in their ice chests, or maybe put in some kind of a container and wrap the ice and save it. And this is the way people had ice in the summertime and all in the beginning before refrigerators came along.
Well, we're driving in the van, so don't look at the bugs on the window. We're going to sort of try to take you a lap around town. Here we go over the railroad tracks. Whee! The EMS ambulance doojiggy place. And this is Shelby Street. Dad's driving 25 miles an hour. We're trying to capture this. Hope there's not a glare coming through. If there is, we're just going to grin and bear it.
Your dad is a very good driver, so there shouldn't be any smart remarks made about my driving.
There's Lakeview. State Barn. And over on our right is Airman's Variety Store and Wyatt's. They just recently, here within a couple years, built a brand new store. The old Stop and Tell and hotel.
Fisher's building that way. Let me pull.
Or it's going to pull over. It's hard to get all this. This is the Stop and Tell. It's been here quite a while. But it's closed now, and they're getting ready to do something new to it. Now we're at the other end of Falmouth here. Over there's the bridge going over the Licking River, going up Pendleton Hill. And this used to be the old Fisher Chevrolet building. It's been here for years. But now it's closing down, and they're going to be probably tearing it down is what we hear. And building something new there. And this is Hardee's. This is the old Stop and Tell building. Hope you can hear me. And this is the Fisher's Motel. I don't think anybody's staying there though. It's closed. They're getting ready to do something to it too. This is a look at US 27, Shell Station, and just recently that Hometown Pizza opened up. Falmouth IGA. Ameristop, Dairy Queen's on up there. And here we're going down 27 again. Gold Star Chili, Ameristop, the Dairy Queen. Car wash. Hawaiian Snow's new. It just opened up a couple weeks ago. And over there's a familiar spot. Your daddy co-owns that with Larry Booth. And this is starting our 3rd year of having it.
And I'm going over right now to have a Hawaiian Snow, great special, so we're going to try that.
This is where Mommy gets her hair cut. Millie works in there, Millie Colvin Delk. She and I grew up together. It's car wash. Pick and Pack, Town and Country Carpet. That's Butts Hardy. He played for your dad. for Pendleton back in 60, no, I think he was 70. UKB, that's a new bank where Donna Wood works. Convenient video. There's another shot at Time Out. We'll go in here in a minute and visit. And this is inside the bar. That's Cat Corner back there. It's where we watch all the UK games. Have a big time. And there's Alma.
Hey, Brianna.
She works here in the mornings for us. It's Alma Crawford. And this is what the place looks like. We've had this for almost 3 years now. And this is Time Out. Well, now we're looking at Southern. That's where you'll be going to school, and you've already gone through all that school by the time you get this. It's a faraway picture looking at it. And the fairgrounds and softball fields, and here's a beautiful shack and some Pepsi machines to look at. Soccer fields. And this is the ball field. Mommy's played softball here. And over there's the new soccer field they're building. And here's where they had the fair and tractor pulls and all sorts of things here. They also had the big Pendleton County Wool Festival here. It's always the first weekend in October. And over here's the new Griffin Center. I'll show you a little bit more about that in a second. Playground. I'm sure you'll be playing there some. And Southern again. It's where Uncle Bobby teaches. Mommy went, I guess it was open in 1973 because I went to 3rd grade there. 3rd through 6th grade. And they just recently expanded on it a couple years ago. Hold on, I'll show you it. It's got some stuff blocking the way. That's the new part that they added on to Southern. It's got a gymnasium and some more classrooms. And this is some more of the fairgrounds. And this is the new Griffin Center. They just opened this up 4th of July weekend of this year. The Griffin family donated the amphitheater. It seats about 1,500 people. And it's a really nice facility. You was on stage there for the baby show. They had Lee Greenwood in concert on their grand opening of the theater. Well, here's looking at the railroad tracks, and it's looking over the viaduct toward 27. And Woodson Lane. And here's looking down the railroad track, going toward the river, and up there by Shelby Street. The Depot Car Wash, and a People Funeral Home hearse. And down by the railroad tracks on the other end. Side angle of People's Funeral Home. And this is still on Shelby Street. Hear the Catholic church bells ringing. And People's Funeral Home. Your Uncle Bobby and Aunt Tippy live up... Uncle Bobby and Aunt Tippy. Scratch that. Uncle Bobby and Aunt Tammy live up top there. And this is the Falmouth Baptist Church on the corner of Maple and 4th Street. And that's Maple Street going up the hill there. And 4th Street. And this is the Pendleton Middle School. I went to 7th and 8th grade here, and also actually 1st and 2nd grade. It used to be the Falmouth High School, but in 1973 they just made it the middle school. And during the summer months, this is I think last year was the 10th year of it. They've had the Kincaid Regional Theater, and they have different musicals and plays and different kinds of entertainment like that they host there inside the middle school gym. That middle school's pretty old. Has 1883 there above the door, but I guess it's been around that long. And they used to have a bunch of playground equipment there. And these are some houses on Chapel Street. And I'm getting ready to show you where I grew up at and where your grandpa still lives. I'm back to the middle school. I'm getting a side view of it. And out there's the softball field. I used to play softball there when I was real little. When I was little, Mommy used to scale that white part all the way around the middle school. I used to play SWAT team on it. And I made it all the way around without falling. And there's a part of Chapel Street. And the Clavers, they live there. Mr. Claver just recently passed away. And here's where Grandpa lives and where Mommy grew up when she was little. Care Unit, St. Luke Care Unit. It used to be the Pendleton Hospital, but now it's a Care Unit. And over there's Chapel Street too, and every
McKinney'sburg school that all of us went to school at. I went to school here for 8 years, grades 1 through 8. We had the first and second grades together, and the third and fourth, and the fifth and sixth, and the seventh and eighth. And this school has since closed, and it's merged in with the Southern Elementary School located in Falmouth. But I spent 8 long years here in this building, and then went to Georgetown College.
Up ahead there you can see the Falmouth sign. This is the other end of 27. And some businesses out here. I think I see Aunt Amy's car over there, that white Ford Probe. I think she's getting it worked on. That Dollar General store was just built. And the Dairy Treat. That little red caboose has been around a while. Just sort of sits there. And I've just moved up the road here a little bit. Still on the south end of 27. That's the Fuller Manufacturing Plant. And the graveyard right past it. Okay, I'm back. Our battery went shot, so I had to get the other one. This used to be the Minute Mart, and it was a video place. It was a Minute Mart when I was in high school. We played video games in there. Nothing's in there now. And it's just another angle of what we just looked at of South 27. And this is Bobby Wiggins. He's a Mr. UK Wildcat basketball fan. He's a friend of ours. He's taking his little walk down Elm Street. And he holds the record for attending the most consecutive UK games. So we're pretty proud of him.
What are you doing?
Filming you. This is Robbins Avenue and corner of Elm.
Oh, you're not bashful this morning, are you?
This is one of the prettier streets in Falmouth, or prettier sections. And up ahead where all those trees are is where Warren Schonert lives. He was the owner of the Falmouth Outlook. Can't really see his house too well. An old stop sign. This is going down to Uncle Tom and Aunt Tippy's. Right over here to our right used to be a gold pond when I was a little girl, but they just recently filled that up. And Uncle Tom and Aunt Tippy are in their 80s, and they used to own a drugstore before your grandpa. And they're pretty good people. This is where they've lived, and the house that Grandpa used to live in, they used to live in. So we're getting ready to have Uncle Tom and Aunt Tippy say something to you. We're venturing out to Kincaid Lake State Park. It's about 5 miles from Falmouth. Out on 159. And we're going to take a right and go that way. And we're out here at Kincaid Lake. And down below is the new pool they built a couple years ago. It's a pretty nice swimming pool. See part of the boat dock down there. Or I think that's somebody's private boat. And up there's the recreation area, tennis courts, basketball, putt-putt golf. The store, camping's on over the hill there. And the recreation area from a different angle. Basketball courts and some more playground equipment and shelter houses. Well, this is on top of Shoemaker Hill, and it's sort of a pretty view. You can hear the church sounding in the background. That's the Catholic Church. You can see the railroad bridge, and you can see the railroad. Down below there. Licking River. See the courthouse and stuff.
the farm and farmed for probably about 20, 25 years. And I'm standing on the bridge here at Morgan, and it has rained about 5 inches here in this community in the last week after it was dry all summer. And you can see that it's a beautiful river. When it's filled up with some water, sometimes it almost goes dry. Looking another direction on the other side of the bridge at the water, the river. It's a beautiful river. This is the high school building, and then this was the elementary school, where they had an elementary school here for the students that lived in this area, and there was a gym connected to the elementary building, and this is where we had our basketball games, and like I say, it was great rivalry and great fun and great times, and I played basketball and baseball here at this school. Morgan Christian Church, that's here right across the highway from the school, and this is where, when I was a senior, we had our baccalaureate services on a Sunday in this church here, and this is where I went to church for a large number of years and belonged to this church, Morgan Christian Church, at that time. We're at the Pendleton County High School. I told you when we were just a few minutes ago when we were over at Morgan about Morgan, and that's where I went to school, and there were 3 high schools in the county, and those 3 high schools merged into one. The 3 high schools was Butler and Falmouth and Morgan, and Butler and Morgan merged first of all into Pendleton County High School, and then a few years later, Falmouth, which was an independent city school, they eventually merged in with Pendleton County also. And they named the mascot was Wildcats, and the colors, the school colors, were black and red, with white being the neutral color. And we're going to leave the parking lot and go on inside the gymnasium and show you a few things inside the building. Before we go on in, the original building didn't look quite like this. This is the new addition that has been added to the building in the last few years. We have a big, beautiful weight room there now that's probably one of the better weight rooms in the state for high schools. And they have added onto the front of the gymnasium. We now have a big, beautiful foyer for the basketball games. And the older plan didn't have these things. It was a nice building, but this has been upgraded towards it's so much nicer now than what it was when it was first built. This is now inside the foyer of the gymnasium, and you can see this is well, like I say, it's a beautiful foyer for games. I hope I'm not moving the camera too rapidly. Recommendation, the superintendent wanted to put pictures of former graduating classes from the high schools that were closed on the walls, and I thought this was too old-fashioned, really, but these were placed on there. And this one right here is my graduating class. And you can see, I think I was in one of the largest graduating classes to ever come out of Morgan High School, and there were only 32 of us. Our trophy cases in the foyer of the gym, and I coached here in the county. I was head basketball coach for 17 years, and during all the history of Pendleton County, of the Morgan and Butler and Falmouth, and then the Pendleton County Wildcats, we were only able to reach the state tournament, which is the final 16 teams, the best 16 teams of the state. And we represented the 10th region, and when I was coaching in 1965, we made it to the state tournament for the first time, and we beat Bryan Station in the finals of that game, and of course we made history in Pendleton County. And then in 1971, we came back again to win the regional tournament, beating Mason County in the finals. And so bragging a little bit, but I was connected to the only 2 teams that have ever made it to the state tournament from Pendleton County High School, and this is 1993. So possibly by the time you read this, hopefully, by the time you look at this film, why, surely some other team from the county will have made it into the state tournament. Also, thinking about the pictures, this is another graduating class. My older brother, Randall, James Randall, graduated 2 years before I did at Morgan, and he also played basketball and was captain of the team and pitched baseball at the high school. There were Randall and Kenneth and I played basketball and pitched baseball. We all sort of followed in each other's shoes. Another picture that shows your Uncle Kenneth at the top of the picture there. And he was the taller of the three of us that played basketball. He was about 6'5" or something like that. And he was good enough to make the East-West team that year that represented different areas of the state. He was quite a basketball player and quite a pitcher on the baseball team. He has later gone on, and he's retiring from the state troopers. He has been a state trooper and a state arson inspector all of these years. Your Uncle Randall that I just showed you has worked for the state revenue department, and he is getting close to retirement. On the inside of the gymnasium, this is much how the gymnasium looked when I coached basketball here, and this is how the gymnasium looked when your mother played basketball here, and she was on the best girls basketball team that has ever represented Pendleton County here. They had a very good record, and your mother was a very fine player. Went on and played 4 years at Georgetown College, and was captain of the team, and was very successful there in softball and basketball. Maybe she'll talk to you later about this. Banners on the wall, which we're quite proud of. And you can see the number of 38th District Tournament Championships that we have won. And then you can see the 2 regional championships that we have won in 65 and 71. And like I say, I'm quite proud that I was a part of these 2 teams. There was quite a bit of excitement and just a great community spirit when we had such great basketball teams here. This is also where your 2 older brothers, they're your half-brothers, but they prefer to be called brothers. And this is where they played. Rick played here for me, and then Steve came along a couple years later and was also a player for me. And Steve went ahead to make honorable mention All-State, which was quite an honor. Is a drawing, which is quite unusual, shows a wildcat coming through the brick wall. And this was done by Kirk Sullivan, and he's a son of Sandra Sullivan, which is my sister's daughter. So he's a member of your family, and he's quite an artist. And this is a drawing that we got him to come up and place on the wall, and he did a very fine job.
And here's a view of the high school from here. If you can hear me with all the cars going by. This is looking out our front window.
What can you tell us about the fires that are raging throughout the area right now?
All right, well, number one, I'd like to really point out to your viewers that when we're saying fires that are raging, we have very few fires really for the extent of the quake itself. So we do have 2 or 3 in our San Fernando Valley area, which is where it's hit the hardest.
Well, I'll let you capture this winter picture. This is the biggest snow I think I've ever seen.
Mobile home
And you probably won't remember it, but I'll try to help you remember it. So we'll talk to you later on your time capsule video.